What was the closest you got to the Japanese on Okinawa? Did you see any of the Japanese soldiers moving around?
Oh yeah, I was in charge of security one night, and from where I was, I could see them moving forward. And the sergeant on the line said, "Hey, Vince," he said, "they're getting close. What should we do?" And he said, "They got women and children." And then so I woke up the lieutenant on duty, and I told him what was going on. He said, "If they get past a certain, you have no chance. If they don't stop or surrender, then you have to shoot them." So the guys on the line opened fire. They killed about 10 or 15 civilians, I guess. And one woman had a baby in her arms. And out of all the shooting that they done, they got 4 Japanese. That's all that was behind them. The rest of them scattered when the shooting started. So that was the only one.
So the Japanese used the civilians as a shield.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. So. One time, when they had to call up tanks with flamethrowers on to get them out of the caves, they come out, they were on fire, and fell. They wouldn't surrender. The bad part was they had civilians in there with them, and they wouldn't let the civilians go either. So the tanks just opened fire with tanks. Just sucked the air out of them, burned what it was. It was something you don't often see. And we were up on a hill behind them, and tanks came in through a little inlet, and they had a guy down there, down below the caves, talking to him in Japanese. They wouldn't come out. So. The CO called, the tank guy called his commander and said, "They won't come out. That's what you got your guns for." So they got 3 caves along the road. But it's...
How many Japanese would you say ran out?
Well, about 5 of them got out. Didn't even get out. They were on fire, so... The other ones just stayed in the back of the cave and suffocated from of course that's what the heat does it sucks out the air. So, and the guys were sitting there waiting for them to come out. Would have just sprayed them all again. So there was nobody there. And the skipper of the tank just told RCO, "It's all yours," and backed his tanks up and took off. Like nothing, you know. And the CO told, Able Company was ahead of us, but the CO told them, "Don't even bother searching the caves." So, if there was anybody alive, it'd be a holy mess. So, you ever see that picture of the little girl running? She was in the Nagasaki bombing? Yeah, that's what they would have looked like. We got to May 10th, and Able and Baker Charlie went down the hill, down into a valley. It wasn't a steep hill, but it was like, a 30-foot slant all the way down to the bottom. And Able Company called for stretcher bearers because they had run into opposition. And Baker Company sent their stretcher bearers, But because there were so many guys got wounded, uh, they called for stretcher bearers from Charlie Company, and we had 4 stretchers. So 2 of us took off. I grabbed the first stretcher and got going down the hill. And as we got to the parapet and we started down the hill, there was a guy laying on a stretcher with 4 other Marines laying down, hugging the ground. And when I got to him, I had to kind of lean over his head and his chest and hold on to the edge of the cliff, because there wasn't that much space on this side. And the guy kept hollering, "Get down, get down." I said, "I can't. I didn't want to lay with..." The guy had 3 bullets in his chest. And I didn't want to lay on him, you know. So I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "The guy's got a machine gun in the woods over there. We can't find him." So Able Company passed him, Baker Company passed him. So this guy was free to take care of anybody that come down after him. And he was going to shoot all the stretcher bearers. He was going to shoot the stretcher bearers. But he didn't have his gun set right, so he couldn't hit him. And when he started firing again, the last round went under my neck and through my arm. So Corporal Parker said, "Come on, Kilbride, come on, get out of here." So I told him, "Well, I can get back to the aid station." He put an aid thing on it. He said, "I can get you back to the aid station." I said, "No, I can go." So he left me and he stayed with the stretcher. I was there 7 or 8 days, and I said, and I just got a patch on my arm is all I got. I said, "Can I go back to my company?" They said, "No, not yet." And then they come back and they said, "Okay, all you guys here, we got to go aboard ship." And I said, "Why? We're going back to camp, to our unit." But no, orders are all wounded will be taken off the island because the Japanese are making a push. So I said, "Okay." So we went to the Philippines. Sometime at night when we didn't know where the Japanese had set up, that was the hardest part, because you're supposed to get sleep and the other guy stays awake, but you stay awake because you don't know if he's going to fall asleep. So there were a couple of nights like that. But
you know, when the civilians were killed, you know, you guys are the good guys. You were there to go help. How did the other Marines, the ones who actually had to fire, how did they react?
Some of them had been in 2 battles already, so they had to do what they had to do, because they knew there were Japanese soldiers behind them. See, and they do everything. A buddy of mine and we took a Japanese prisoner down to turn over to the army unit, and when we got down there, they had him in a room about as big as this, and the guy was walking around outside, and the Okinawan people were running up to the windows, giving them food and stuff in baskets. And I said to the guy, I said, "Don't you check that stuff?" He said, "No, they're just glad to be here." The next day, they found him sprawled out under his poncho, and all the Japanese prisoners gone. They slit his throat. I said, "Well, you don't want to search him."
So what advice do you want to give to future generations?
You better stick up for your country. That's one thing. The other thing, don't all vote for a guy because you think he's the one always. And there's an old proverb that says, "Do unto others as you would have others do unto you." And that's what you should live by. Black, white, purple, or green, we're all red inside. So there's no need to hate somebody because they're a different color. No need to hate somebody because they're making more money. You can make money all you want. It's what you do with it when you get it. And if any of you guys from Charlie 17, World War II is still out there, look me up on Facebook. I snuck that in.
I think it's great.
For you old fellas that don't do nothing, get some Xbox and sit and enjoy yourself.
So you've been playing Xbox for a while.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of them. You wouldn't believe it.